Hi and welcome back to MDriven. Today I'm going to touch on a topic which I myself find a bit difficult and technical and hairy, but still we made a lot of progress and I want to share it. So the basic idea is that we have a Postgres database, and I have imported the example database, which is called DVD rental, and there's a lot of stuff within this, and the aim is to reverse it and use it with MDriven server. So let's get going. I'll start by downloading the MDriven designer. Start a new file. Gonna save that in a special place. And gonna reverse the Postgres database. This is the connection string that I have, and I test that the connection works, and then I analyze DB and I see the tables from the database, and actually I'm gonna add this one, film actor. We're not gonna add this one for now. Film actor is actually a link object between film and actor, but since it doesn't have a primary key in the database, it's not discovered automatically by the reverse logic we have here. If we check this, we can see everyone that has a foreign key, all the foreign keys that we have discovered, and all the no, rather that one was the primary key, of course, and here we have all the foreign keys. If we were to look at what's it called, film actor, it looks like this. There are only like 3 attributes and no specific primary key. So we'll need to deal with that manually. Not a problem. Just press go here, and we get a warning that there's some attributes that has strange types. PostgreSQL is able to store complex things in their fields. You can define your own types, and we can't really handle those. We're going to treat them as strings. So we have one that is a text array, one that is something called TS vector, and one that is called MPAA rating. And then we have character P as well. But everything we're going to treat as strings. Going to look at that. So if we drag on actor and drag on film on this diagram, and also drag on the film actor, it seems there's stuff missing here, associations missing. If we just look at film, we see that it points out language and inventory, and that's fine. And if we're to look at just actor, well, that doesn't actually point out anything, but so I'm gonna save here. All right. Yeah. I'm gonna start by adding a new local server pair, and I'm gonna call this DVD2, and I'm gonna make sure that I have the latest versions of turnkey server and MDriven server. This is especially crucial for this because it's things that we have done just now. So it won't work unless you have the very latest as of today. So the download is done, and I've added a new slot for the local server pair, and I'm gonna refresh the install from the things that I downloaded into this slot here. And then usually when I start the service, that fails because there's a lot of file locks. It's easier if I refresh another pair in between. So I'm going to refresh this, that's totally safe just to refresh something. And then I'm going to switch back to DVD2 and start those servers and see that they start okay. So my MDriven server is at this address, and my turnkey server is at the address after 5020 and 5021. Good. That means that if I go to 5020, and web page pops up on my other screen, and I log in with A and the password 123456 for these local servers. And what I want to do is make sure that I fill in this is reversed checkbox, because when that is set, the first model upload is not regenerating the database as we usually do. For the first model, we assume that there's nothing there, but in this case there are things there, right? And I also need the connection string from before. So I'm gonna head over here, and since I can't remember it, I'm gonna bring this up again and switch. Yeah, this is the one. And paste that in and say that this particular MDriven server is actually gonna use PostgreSQL. So now we have added the connection string to this particular brand of database and said that that's a reversed setup, and I'm gonna submit all my changes there. What happens now when I want to upload the model to this MDriven server, but the current target server isn't set. So I'm going to just say use the above for this slot. So when I press that one, this was updated to 5020. Of course, I could have just filled in 5020 in this tab and the name and password, but that was what was done for me when I used this button. So I can check the status on this server, and it says never started, no current version, and that's correct. And I'm gonna upload the model to that server and check what it says. And it says that your application has reverse DB, so no action is taken. That is good. What I want to do now is actually to, I'm going to refresh this page to see that I have a model version uploaded. There's a current version set, and it seems to be running, but I still want to ensure the admin tables and sync mapping and DB. What that means is that when I go to PostgreSQL admin here to check the database, and I do a refresh here, I can see that there's just the tables from the default date or the test database that I've restored. But what I need and want are the 4 administrative tables that MDriven needs in order to keep track of changes to the schema of the database, or rather the differences between the model and the schema of the database. So I'm going to do that by using the new function to an MDriven server called ensure admin tables and sync mapping and DB. So pressing that one, I get some information and it shows up here. Mapping, so no action is taken, that was from before. Now it says mapping is okay, eco tables table not found, trying to create, eco ID table not found, trying to create, syncing mapping from this model version to actual DB version, script synced. Good. And that would mean if I head over here and do a refresh, I get these 4 new tables, which doesn't contain much data. This is the when we do our own classes from the model, and then default key generation will get its number from here. The eco OR mapping is where we store the object relational mapping XML structure, so that we can diff that against what we have in the model now, and thus construct the alter script for this particular brand of database. Eco tables are where we're going to put in extra tables that we have created ourselves from MDriven, so that we know that these tables are managed by MDriven. Currently it won't be much in here. And eco type is whenever we have superclasses and subclasses represented as multiple tables, we might need discriminators to decide if a row is a particular class of object or not, and that's what we call the eco type, and that we have a registry of those here. So it's nothing strange, but be wary of these and keep them. And having done that, one would assume that everything would be dandy, but I think we're gonna run into some further problems. But let's try this out. So I'm gonna go and check data in A0, and I see the classes that I've found, and I'm gonna do something, try to list or search for cities within the database, and that went fine. And if I double click one of the cities, I get the generated autoform. And if I were to follow links, like this is a city called Adana, which apparently is in the country Turkey. I can follow single links to open the country, and then I see I'm a country Turkey, and that has a multi-link back to cities, so I can follow that to list all the cities, and this seems to work rather nice. Good. Let's head back to the registry of all classes, because where I think we have problems is the film class. If I choose that and search, it doesn't behave very well. So it asked us to check the exception log, because something serious happened here. So I'm going to go back to the MDriven server and check the log and the exceptions log, and see that there's loads of issues here, but mostly it's just a call stack, and this is where the real error is explained. It says that server returned, so type system string array with data contract array of string is not expected. So this was one of the warnings we got before, but we ignored that there are strange attribute mappers in the model currently. So most likely this is on the film class then. I'm going to head back here and go to the diagram and on the film class, and let's see. Yes, so this is system array, and we are not able to handle that in the database. Not many databases are. and we're just going to change this to being a string instead. And this is now set as a generic attribute mapper, which is not well, it's a generic attribute mapper. It won't do much of anything. So we're going to change this to default, which means that we're going to have the mapper of the type that we added, so or started to use, so string, and that's more like it. We don't need to know the name of the mapper even if it has one, because we're just going to say default, and then the system is going to look up a good mapper for strings. And while we're here, going to check if there are other strange things. This one is super strange. I'm going to switch that to string as well. And same here. Otherwise, it looks okay. And what I do then is simply upload the updated model, and it says it's gonna it's changed mapper, and that's okay. It says it's gonna be a data loss, but really we didn't see any data before, so and we are actually not applying any SQL script to change the schema. This was just a change of how we will interpret the schema that is already. So let's head back to the MDriven server then, and just we can see that we have a new model version, and we see that the same information that we got in the MDriven designer is also available here. That's the same thing. So let's see if we now can go over and check film. Yes, we can. Good. So film is okay. Question is actor okay? We want to have both these okay. Yes, it is. Good. So now the tricky part of this presentation comes when we actually want to do a declaration of associations that we think are in the database, but we haven't in the model. So what I think, or I'm pretty sure, since I've practiced this, is that there's a link from film to film actor, a many link. So in a film there may be many film actors, and also there's a link from actors to film actor, like an actor may have been an actor in many films. And to get this going, we need to state that the film actor thing has a composite key, because if we were to check in Piggy admin how the film actor class looks, or now I say class, it's a table. It only has these two keys. So what's unique about rows in this table? Well, if we do the query tool and select star from film actor, we can see that this is certainly not unique, and probably this isn't unique either, but the combination is most likely unique. So how would we do that? Well, we need to say that this key, if we click this one and then we go to the primary key for this one, currently it's left blank. If we were to look at another one like actor and check the primary key for that one, it says actor ID. Yes, that's fair. But on this one, it's blank. And we need to state something here in order to be able to find things of type film actor. And how we do this in MDriven is actually that we comma separate what we call the composite key. So we have film underscore ID comma actor underscore ID. So that is actually our key, right? But that's the key. How does these single links actually find the correct values here? Well, on the single link, which actually is the value embedded in film actor, and also on the actor, which also is embedded on film actor, we can set, if we go here and say that what's the column name on film, where do we want to take data from in the database to get this value? Well, it's from the film ID. And where we want to get the data from here? Well, it's the film actor's actor ID. Column name, actor ID. Let's check that I did this right. Column name, film ID, column name, actor ID. I'm going to save that. And then I'm going to upload that model and wait for it to say something. And then it says column film ID of relation film actor already exists. Yeah, so he tried to evolve the database, but we tried to add this because it was new in our model, but since it was already there, we failed with that. So how do we solve that? Well, I think we can do it like this, that we go to the model and then we can use this button again, because ensure admin tables is not what we want to do, or is not what we need to do. We have already done that. But syncing the mapping and the DB, stating that this model that we have here is actually a representation of what we have in the database already. You don't need to do anything. That's what we want to do. So we're going to press this one and see what it says down here. Script synced. And that's what we wanted to achieve when we have differences between what we represent in the model and what is represented in the last script overmapping information in the database and what is actually in the database. Since there was a difference between the model and this overmapping, the logic felt it needed to do stuff. But what we did by pushing this button was to force our representation from our current model into this, and the next upload that we do should then discover that it doesn't need to do anything. Let's see if I'm correct. Yeah, so now it was fine. It doesn't feel that there's a difference anywhere and everything is okay. So let's see what happens if we were to go to the MDriven server and do a check for data in, yeah, let's go for actor and go for one of the actors. And now we have a multi-link film actors, and now we can see that this actor has been in a couple of films. So I'm going to click up this film, and now I get to the object film actor and can follow the single link back to the film. And that's an astounding panorama of lumberjack and dog who must redeem a woman in an abandoned funhouse. Okay. And so that was actually that went pretty well, I think. So this is one of the more advanced things that you can embark on, trying to represent associations or that has not simple keys but composite keys. And yeah, from here we are actually free to pretty much do our own things with this database, like if we want to add a complete new class with some attributes and maybe an association to film, and upload that. That would be created for us, and now the benefits of having MDriven become clear, that we don't have to do a lot of work to both manage things like this, to quickly change the schema, and if we were to delete one of the attributes and send that up, things like that are also handled for us. Yeah, so I'm gonna finish it up here and try it out. I think you will like it. Thank you for listening.